First tropical cyclone in 2 years is now imminent on the tropical Queensland coast. We already have a tropical system developing in that area, and all of our computer models intensify this system over the weekend and track it west towards the north tropical coast. The rest of Australia, a hot, dry weekend for the southern coastline, although for Saturday, a burst of showers and storms for parts of eastern Victoria and New South Wales. And we already have heavy rain and flooding through the inland part of Western Australia. But let's start with our cyclone. Firstly, the ocean temperatures. One of the key ingredients for a cyclone to form is warm ocean temperatures in excess of 26.5 degrees. Right now, the ocean temperatures are close to 30 degrees in the northern Coral Sea, up to 2 degrees warmer than normal, even for this time of year. So that ticks one of the boxes. The other one's wind shear. We have low vertical wind shear and we have outflow above, along with an already present tropical low. And that is why our models are predicting this cyclone to develop. Cyclone Debbie heading towards the coastline. The outskirts of the system just flicking the coast on Saturday, but as the system nears the coast on Sunday, you should start to see the winds really picking up and also heavy rain. Now, it's too early to say exactly where and when the cyclone will make landfall, but we have pretty good agreement with our models that it will be the north tropical coast, more than likely somewhere between Cairns and Townsville, anywhere from Sunday night to Tuesday morning. And this cyclone, at a minimum, is likely to be a Category 2 system, but potentially we could see a Cat 3 or 4 with wind gusts up to 200 kilometres per hour, possibly even higher than that mark. Too early to say, but we are expecting destructive winds near the eye. It is quite a small system. The latitude on Friday of the radius was only about 2.5 degrees. That's about 250 kilometres roughly. So about half the size of Yasi. That will restrict the strongest winds to a fairly small area near the centre. One of the other features will be a storm surge on the southern side where the winds are onshore. So winds run clockwise around lows in the southern hemisphere, and it's where those winds are onshore, the gale force winds push the ocean onto the coast. High tide on Monday is due between 8 and 9 a.m. and 8 to 9 p.m. So that's the worst case scenario that would hit during one of those times in terms of the storm surge and the rainfall. Torrential rain, and after it hits the coast, we're expecting the low perhaps will stall through Western Queensland. That's why over the next 8 days, not only should we see hundreds of millimetres along the coastline, the black shading even indicating potentially over 400 millimetres of rain, but we'll also see heavy rain through the inland areas, through the Channel Country, the northwest and also the Gulf. So widespread flooding for western and northern Queensland, with that heavy rain extending down to some central parts of the state. Major flooding is possible, in fact even likely, from this system. New South Wales, showers and storms were contracting north across the state during Friday, but another upper trough bringing another burst of showers and storms on Saturday. We may even see 1 or 2 severe storms. So this drenching, which has lasted 2 weeks, is not quite over yet. On Sunday, that activity starting to contract north once again, and by Monday, most of New South Wales will have some dry weather. We are expecting more wet weather towards the middle of next week. But over the next 8 days, fairly low totals compared to what we've seen, averaging about 20 millimetres for eastern New South Wales and eastern Victoria. Localised heavier falls from storms. And because the ground is saturated, localised flooding is possible. Already a flood warning for the Bogan River in central New South Wales, where Dubbo has had their wettest March in over 90 years. Flooding also for WA as a tropical low moves inland. Port Hedland's had over 250 millimetres already this week. That heavy rain is spreading further south through the eastern Gascoyne, the Goldfields, all the way down to the western Euclid district. Once that rain clears, a front will bring a burst of showers and strong winds to the southwest corner of WA. And that system will then impact southeastern Australia early next week with a burst of showers and a gusty cool change ahead of it. Hot northerly for the weekend though for South Australia and Victoria. And there's our tropical low. I mentioned that the system will stall through Western Queensland. You can see through the middle of next week, it's really just staying near stationary. That is good news for some farmers. We are going to see some major drought relief here, heavy rain and hundreds of millimetres on the way there. Hopefully we don't get too much. We don't end up with widespread major flooding. And another burst of rain is also possible through southeastern Australia towards the end of next week.